Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhagavate Naitikedi. I welcome you all for this Bhagavad Gita as it is session, continuation of first chapter in English. The name of the chapter is Observing the Armies, and the verse number is 28 and 29. So I will read the verse 28. Arjuna Vacha Tuste Vaman Swajanam Krishna Yutsam Samupastitam Siddhanti Mamagatrani Mukam Cha Parishushati. Arjuna Vacha Drustve Mam Swajanam Krishna Yutsam Samupastitam Siddhanti Mamagatrani Mukam Cha Parishishyati. Word by word meaning. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Drishva, after seeing Imam, all this, Swajanam, kinsman, Krishna, over Krishna, Yucham, all in a fighting spirit, Samupastitam, present, Siddhanti, or quivering, Mama, my, Gatrani, limbs of the body, Mukam, mouth, Cha, also, Parishishyati, is drying up. Translation purport given by Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada ki Jai. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth is drying up. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods. Whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications, by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight against among themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party. Foreseeing their imminent death, and while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver, his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community of all blood relatives of Arjuna had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna, although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only Arjuna's body limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such compassions in Arjuna were not due to the weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. He said there, Yashaiti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvair Gunais Tatra Samasate Suraha Harav Abakatsya Kuto Mahodguna Mano Ratena Shati Davato Bahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of God has all the good qualities of demigods, but one who is not a devotee of Lord has only material qualifications that are little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and it is certain to be attracted by the material energy. Bhagavatam 5.8.12. Sloka number 29. Vepatuscha sarire me romaharascha jayate gandivam shramshate hastat tvakchaiva paridayate veputu cha sarire Veputuscha sharira me roma harascha jayate gandivam shamsate hastat tvakchaiva paridayate. Veputu, remeling of the body, cha also sharira on the body. My Romaharsha standing on and the hair end. Cha also Jayate is taking place. Gandivam the bow of Arjuna. Samshate is slipping. Hatsat from the hand. Hastat from the hand. Tvak skin. Cha also Eva suddenly. Paridayate is burning. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Samsara Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Gita. There are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standings of the hair on an end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling burning sensation of the skin. All this due to material conceptions of life. So first we will discuss verse number 28, where Arjuna is speaking here. Arjuna speaking about his own kinsmen. So the problem is, it is fully focusing on the own kinsmen, our own siblings, our own relatives, our own friends, and our relationships. Because of this relationship, because of this own kinsmen, we are struggling, we are suffering, we are becoming a victim of this material world, we are becoming a victim of this Maya. So this concept everyone should understand why the problems are occurring for us. Even though we are rich, even though we are very happy, even though we have all the facilities, all the convenience, all sorts of luxuries, all sorts of opulences, everything we have, but still we are struggling, something is lacking here, something is lacking. That is because we have attachment to our own kinsmen. So because SVA-JANAM, it is called SVA-JANAM, the own bodily concept. Because of this bodily concept, we are struggling, we are having so many we are facing so many abominable conditions. And here it is also, Arjuna is a very good Kshatriya. Kshatriya means one who saves his citizens, one who protects his citizens. That is the meaning of Kshatriya. And Brahmana means one who knows the Brahman, the Supreme Personality of God. He is the real Brahmana. Chaturvarnam Gunakarma Vibhagashaya. The four Varnas. There are only four castes which are divided according to his guna and karma, not according to the birth. Not based on the birth. That we should always bear in mind. Brahmana is not by birth, by quality. Kshatriya is not by birth, by quality. Brahmana means one who knows the Brahman. He knows what is Brahman. He knows what is supreme. He knows what is the relationship between him and the Lord. So as the Vedic civilization recommends that one should have this Atato Brahma Jijnasa, one should inquire about the Lord. One should know what is the Lord. One should know what is the relationship between the Lord. One should know why I am suffering. One should know why I am having diseases. If he doesn't know, then it is not a civilization at all. Many people say many different things about civilizations. But according to Vedic civilization, according to Shastras, according to scriptures, one should see always through Sadhu Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. Not according to different mundane source of information which we are getting from different gadgets and different medias. Not that. We should study Chakshu. Shastra Chakshu means see. Study the Shastras. So then you will understand why we are having this SVA-JANAM, why Arjuna is having compassion towards his kinsman. Because he sees the future status, future condition of his kinsmen. Even though they are opponents or enemies for them, he is seeing after the death what happens to them. They may lose their wives may lose their husbands. They may become widows. And the children may become unwanted population. So that is the quality and characteristics of a good devotee. So all these things Arjuna is taking into consideration. But according to Vedic civilization, the bodily concept of life should be given up. Otherwise, you cannot go to Krishna Loka, or you cannot attain, you cannot subdue death, birth and death cycle. You cannot come out from birth and death cycle. The main purpose of this human civilization is to come out from the birth and death, this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, you will get trapped like a chain. You keep on rotating in this material planets, like how the football players kick the ball from this post to that post and that post to this post. We will be driven from pillar to post. What is the use of driving from pillar to post if you are not able to promote your human life to the kingdom of Godhead? Because there it is said in 10th chapter that it is Paramam, it is Pavitram. Everything is pure there. No birth and death cycle is there. No agony, no sufferings, no Tridhatus, Adidaivam, Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidaivik. No three modes of material nature. Your aim is to serve Supreme Personality of God there. No other work for us. No studies. Always serve Krishna. That is the only thing. You will be always eternally happy. But here we are trying for the temporary happiness, like flickering of the tube light. Just for that flickering of time, we are running, we are slogging, and we are breaking our brains like anything. We do all sorts of, we sacrifice everything, the whole life, just for the happiness of flickering time, just for a eye wink of a time. We are slogging here. So the Swajanam is, we have to focus, we have to throw more light on this Swajanam. Why this Swajanam? Why that is own kinsman. So here Kshatriyas is to protect his children, his subjects, so that he should create more opportunities, more services, how to serve the Supreme Personality of God. That is the real quality of a Kshatriya. That is the characteristics of a king. Not just taking taxes from them, charging them in different penalties. That is not the main aim. But give them Krishna consciousness, give them employment opportunities. If he is unemployed, his mind is idle. Idle mind is a devil's workshop. Then he will do all sorts of nonsense things. That is why we should provide employment for them. There should be no point of unemployment in the country, in the state. Then only he will be engaged. If he is employed, he is engaged. If he is unemployed, he do all sorts of nonsenses. See, king's son is free from all things. Everything is there. All facilities is there for king's son. That is why he does all sorts of nonsense things. So everybody, even king's son, even everybody, even the richest and poorest, all the children of the subjects should be engaged, because the mind is wavering. It is Chanchala Manahi Krishna. Arjuna says, mind is wavering. Nobody knows about the mind. Everybody thinks something is happening. Some sixth sense is speaking to me. Some sixth sense is controlling me, directing me, monitoring me. No, that mind. You should concentrate. You should study about the mind. That is Vedic civilization, because the body is acting because intelligence is there, and intelligence is acting. No, the first senses are acting. The five senses are acting because the mind is acting. Mind is acting above senses, and the mind is acting because the above mind is intelligence is there, and so intelligence is acting because the body is there, and the body is acting because the soul is there. So it comes like this, from soul, because soul, the body is acting, and because of the body, intelligence is acting, and the intelligence is acting because the mind, intelligence is directing the mind. So the soul is directing the mind, directing the body, and the body is directing the intelligence, and the intelligence, the soul controls the intelligence. Because of the soul, intelligence Soul is directing intelligence. Intelligence is directing um, mind, and mind is directing the senses. And and like this, we have to see that criteria, that law, the main thing behind that, the essence behind this body and soul. We should separate from body and soul. We should know the difference between soul and the body. Then only that bodily concept of life will be eradicated. It will be banished from our mind, from our intelligence, from our consciousness. So that is why the Kshatriya should be well trained. He should be well trained how to give protection to the citizens, how to give Krishna consciousness to the citizens. So the Kshatriya, sometimes the king has to kill the subjects also because of his Horatia, because of these criminal activities. So he should be well trained how to kill when the citizens disobey the orders of the government. And the same king should know how to give Krishna consciousness to them, how to give good Vedic civilization to him. He should be well trained. He should be Rajarshi. The king should be Rajarshi. He should know how to rule, how to govern the people, how to govern the kingdom. So nowadays, in the present modern government, no particular king the king has no powers at all. He has made a dummy piece. He has made a very, he is just like a rubber stamp. But other politicians, they have powers, but they are not well trained. They should be well trained. Then only they should given that eligibility. They should given that greater responsibilities. Otherwise, if he himself doesn't know how to train himself and the subjects, how he can govern the subjects, how he can govern the people. So the one who has given the throne, he should given good training to govern the subjects, to govern the state, to govern the country. The whole world is based on this Maituna Bhava. Only are based on sexual relationship. Husband is good, he is attached to wife, and wife is attached to husband. Nothing else. And both unite, they get children. What is the use of getting children if the father and mother doesn't give Vedic civilizations to children? By samskara, he should get purified. Children should get purified. That is why we are having unwanted population. That is why we are having so many chaos in the society, so many disturbances in the society, so many criminal activities are going on because the Vedic civilization is not introduced in our administration, in our ruling, in our kingdom, in our state. So Vedic civilization should be introduced. It should be trained from the beginning itself. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says. Kaumaram acharate prajna. Kaumaram acharate prajna. He says, Kaumaram acharate prajna. From the beginning, at the age of 5 itself, the children should be trained to do what dharma is, to perform the dharma. So the whole modern education is the thing that is body is everything. They think body is all. And they never care about the soul at all. Dehatma buddhi, bodily concept of life is so strong. That is why Arjuna admits, Drishtva tu swajanam Krishna. I have to kill my own son. He is showing so much compassion to his own people, to his own pitrus, to his own sons, children, wives. Even though they are opposite to them, though they are shatrus for them, even though he is showing compassion. That is one of the qualities of a devotee, a pure devotee. So affection for own men, that is called nepotism. Even in our country, in the world also, the women are given higher responsibilities. So they are given ambassador post. So all these things should be stopped. The woman should be a very good housewife. She should train the children at home by giving good Krishna consciousness to them and by preparing good dishes so that she can offer to Krishna. So because of this Swajana, because of own kinsmen in relationship with the body, that is the barrier of spiritual advancement. That is the barrier of spiritual understanding. That is why we are not able to advance in spiritual life. That is why we are not able to understand properly the things. Just becoming very intelligent and brilliant in all our mundane activities and material activities, that's not a great thing. That's a foolish thing. You should have that material education, you should have that mundane education, mundane qualification, but that should be dovetailed to Vedic civilization. That should be dovetailed to serve Krishna. It should be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. That should be introduced in Krishna consciousness, so that people will be able to take up, intelligent men and those who are very intelligent, they have to take up this Krishna consciousness. They have to train, they have to well train, and they should preach others. That's what Prahlad Maharaj did. That was Prahlad Maharaj was doing. He was the only devotee. The whole entire school, the entire Gurukul was the sons of Asuras, even including his father. That is why he used to address his father as best of Asuras. Asura Shrestha he was calling his father. In the break time, in the intervals, he was preaching Krishna consciousness to them, because Prahlad Maharaj was well trained when he was in the womb itself. In the womb of Kayadu, Narada Muni instructed all the Bhagavatam sloka, verses and the teachings of Bhagavatam. So Prahlad Maharaj was so well trained, and all these things he introduced when his masters was not there. That is the preaching technique. So that's how we should preach. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Yare dekha tare Krishna upadesh. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, give them Krishna consciousness. If you are not, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and preach them Krishna consciousness. If you are not able to read or understand Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, just give them your beautiful, please, kindly words, your benevolent words. Sir, please take up this Krishna consciousness. Sir, please chant Hare Krishna mantra. Sir, please chant Hare Krishna mantra. You are a good man. You are a nice man. You are a brilliant man. You know everything. Sir, please take up. That's what Prabodhananda Saraswati also says. Sakalam eva vidya. And finally you should say, give up all your nonsense things, whatever you have in the heart. Kill them, push them out. Give them all the nonsense things you have. And take up this pure Krishna consciousness. That will really serve the society and serve the country and the whole world. That's how you can change the whole world. But it's not a overnight. It's not an overnight concern. It is a long-term policy. It is a long-term policy. You have to strike. You have to strive. You have to wake them. You have to wake all the souls. But you should not give up your endeavors. Go on, try again. So that's what Dante Nidaya Trunakati Padayor Nipatya Kakasatam Krutvataham Bruhami. One has to keep the straw in the mouth. That is the position of the humble devotee. You Like Sanatana Goswami, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took a straw, he took this straw and kept in his mouth, a piece of a stick. He kept. That is the position of the humble devotee. You should be very humble, should be very meek. Then only you can preach Krishna consciousness to others. You should flatter them, or at least you should be very honest to give them Krishna consciousness. You should take that humbler position. Then you can tell them what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Chaitanya Chandra Vichare Kare Sakalam Eva Vinaha Sakalam Eva Viha Durat. So then I will hear everything. So it is like a person who was having a hen. So he was very satisfied when he saw that hen was laying its egg every day. Oh, this hen is very good. Every day it is laying its egg. So then one day he had that cruel idea. But this hen is laying eggs, but mouth is very expensive, he thought. Then why don't we cut off this mouth? Then we can take only eggs. So that's not at all possible. So that is what the present day people, they are taking different whims and whims. They are giving their own whims and their own thoughts and their own what we can say, unauthorized statements from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So taking Bhagavad Gita and giving their own whims. So that's not is recommended. That is called Kakasatam Krutva Chaham Brahmi. So then that's not going to happen, because when you cut the mouth of the hen, the eggs will not be laid. So when you give unauthorized statements, when you give this illegal statements which is against the Bhagavad Gita as it is and Bhagavatam, then your whole thing will get collapsed. So that is why you should preach Sarvam Etad Ritam Manme, Ritam Mamne. You should, because in 10th chapter, Arjuna says that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. At last he has accepted. Whatever you say, I will accept it. So our mind should be well trained. Our mind should be very alert, because alert in Krishna consciousness, alert in devotional service, because it is tested at the time of death. As Krishna says in 8th chapter, Yam yam vapi smaran vavam tajantante kalevaram. So if you are claiming that you are a pure devotee, then your pure devotion service are tested at the time of death. Be careful. Don't claim that you are a pure devotee. Don't claim that you know everything. If you know everything, and if you are very intelligent, if you are very brilliant, and if you are very learned man, then you are tested at the time of death. Because no body will, so different bodies will give different desires. You are not similar to your neighbor, or you are not similar to anybody. Because everybody will have different forms, different facial expressions, different face cuts, and different types of a body. Because all have different desires. According to our desire, our body is formed. According to our desire, our consciousness is formed. As soon as we leave this gross body, the subtle body will accept some other gross body. This gross body is Bhumirapo Anulava Vayu. Bhumirapo Anulava, earth, water, air, fire, ether. And the subtle body is mind, ego, intelligence. Your mind, ego, intelligence will carry, like how the air carries the aroma to some other place. Similarly, the subtle body carries and accepts some other body. If you don't remember Krishna at the time of death, if you don't chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, your mind should be well trained. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnane. If your tongue, if your mind is not chanted, is not remembering Krishna, then you cannot relish the nectar of Vaikunta. So you should fix your mind in Krishna consciousness. Because yoga means Indriya Samhati, means the continuation of mind and senses, the combination of mind and senses. Your mind and senses should be fixed in Krishna's lotus feet. Like it is called Rajahamsa. When the swan is entangled with the stem of the lotus flower. The same way our mind and our senses, our consciousness should be entangled at the stem of the lotus feet of Krishna, at the lotus feet of the Krishna. So that's how one should be trained. According to our different desires, we get different bodies. We should be very careful. That is why Bhaktivinoda Maharaj says, Sarira Avidyajal Jodindra Tahagal, our Sarira Avidyajal Jodindra Tahekal. Our consciousness, our mind and senses are network of nescience. So that should be, we should get rid of that. And we should carry and we should welcome Krishna in our mind and senses. For that we should chant Kirtaniya Sadahari. 24 hours you should keep on chanting. Wherever you go, whatever work you do, keep chanting holy names of the Lord. Remembering Krishna. Have devotion, association with the devotees. Then your mind is well trained, your mind is well fixed. Like how the Rajahamsa does. Like swan is entangled at the stem of the lotus flower. Similarly, our mind should be entangled at the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is why Kulashekar Alvar says, Prana Prayane Samaye Kapavata Pitta. So that's what the point is here. What Kulashekar Alvar says, at the time she is addressing Krishna. Please, my dear Krishna, he is calling Krishna. Now I am well fit. I am physically, mentally, I am fit. All my kapha pitta is balanced. Nothing ahead. I don't have any problem at all. Please take my life now itself so that I can chant, I can remember your names. So that's what Kulashekar Alvar says. A beautiful sloka he has given there. Beautiful prayer. So you cannot just delay the things. When the death is nearing to me, 2 or 3 years, 5 years, that time I will try. No, that's not going to happen. It will not happen at all. It's highly impossible. You cannot delay the things. Kaumanam acharate pragna dharmam bhagavate iha durlava manusha janma tadapi adrutva artadam. So Prahlad Maharaj was preaching his friends. At the age of 5 itself, he should take up the Krishna consciousness. Then only at the time of death you can remember. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. So here Swajanam means the bodily concept of life. Arjuna is showing compassion towards his kinsman. That is why he was not able to kill. He was reluctant to kill because his Gandivyam was slipping from his hand and his mouth is getting dried up and his hairs was standing and he was shivering like anything. He was trembling. All these qualities we get when we are in danger. We can experience when we are having a heated argument with our friends or with our opponents or with our shatrus. That time, at the time of danger, we will be trembled, our hairs will stand at the end and our mouth will get dried up and everything will be slipping from our body, and we will not be able to speak sometimes. All these things will happen. There are two types of symptoms are there. One is when we are materially in danger, and another is when we are spiritually bliss. Then that Ashta Sata Vikara will manifest. That is tears coming from the eyes. That is called Ananda Bhaskaralu in Telugu. And hairs will stand at the end. Romansa it is called. And we will be trembling and we will be dancing. Always this we can experience when we have an association with the devotees, when we are doing Sankirtan. And we'll fall on the ground. We'll be rolling. All these things, this Ashtasata Vikara will happen when your chanting is pure without offenses. So that sort of a spiritual bliss we have to endeavor. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Thank you all for having patience hearing, and we will advise and request to chant Hare Krishna mantra every day without fail. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.